Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Radiant Tale, continuing Pashalia's route. Bird is being, as always, and there's thunderstorms here. You're not going to be able to hear the thunder, but every once in a while I'm going to be like, oh, it's because of thunder that's just creeping up slowly in the background. Anyway, the following day. No, that was a car. I'm like, what is that noise? Anyway, it's faintly enough in the distance that it's not like super loud, but you just hear it and you're like, wait. That was thunder. It was weird. Anyway, Vashali and I met up with Alest and Ion. Yay, more Alest! We all boarded the security force's carriage and headed for Ruth. Right. It's only been a day for me, it's been a day for you, and I forgot what the hell we were doing. After a few days on the road, we finally reached the town late one afternoon. Gentle sunbeams poured down on the pastoral scenery, making for a pleasant sight. Phew, we're finally here. We waved off Ion and Alest as they broke off in another direction. Good to see Alest. I took a deep breath. A sad sigh, letting the rich sense of fresh earth and greenery fill my nose. The last time I came here was for our wedding celebration, I think. The welcoming aromas of Ruth embraced me. Bashalia smelled just like the crisp, clean air here. Even though Arthur was my hometown, coming back here made me feel nostalgic. But, I looked around the village, scrutinizing every detail. None of the houses or plants seemed any different from before. Yet something doesn't feel quite right. Hey, Pashalia? Vita? Is it just me or does the air feel like it's changed since the last time we were here? Wrestling with the uncanny feeling, I faced the two beside me. Their puzzlement was clear as their eyes wandered the area. And then it's funny because, okay, the whole last chapter, Pashalia had blue hair and now we're back to, blonde. But it's so frickin' bizarre. I like the fact that they did that because they're like, oh, we'll say that he has to be in disguise and the blue hair just so you kind of get that moment back because you're like, they knew. We're like, oh my god, it's blonde Pashalia, but he's different than the one, like, you like him both ways, but it's like a weird place to be, and they obviously knew that. They're like, we'll have that chapter and he'll have his blue hair back, and then it'll be like, oh, it's like the Pashalia we know and love, but, and then now he's back to blonde, and you're like, and it's so disconcerting every single time. Like, did they know that it was gonna feel weird? Like, because at the end of the game, the original game, he goes to blonde, and you're like, that's so different. We've spent the whole into hours upon hours with him with blue hair, and now he's like blonde. Okay, it's supposed to be brown, but whatever. That's fucking gold, okay? Right? And then, so it's a little like you're like, okay, and then you start this route, and you're like, oh right, okay, he doesn't have blue hair anymore. So, it's jarring a little every time he shows up, and you're like, I still in my brain see him with blue hair. And then you start to get used to it in chapter 1, and then they're like, chapter 2, blue hair! And you're like, you know what? Holy hell. And now we're back to, and I'm like, it's jarring every single time. Like, is it just me? Are you like, wait, I can't. I mean, I like that they did that, because they gave you back Pashalia from the first game a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's still, like, you're making me dizzy, game. Jesus. Ugh, their puzzlement was clear as their eyes wandered the area. This situation must be pretty grave if even non-magical folks like you realize something isn't right here. It sounded so sarcastic and mean the way I read it. It's not what she meant, but... What? There are very few spirits around. This is a first. Are you saying they've all disappeared? Not exactly. There are some here and there. This is usually their prime playtime in the village, though. Hey, guys! Anybody here? Vita flew to the spirits' usual hangouts and called out to them. They were nowhere to be found, not by the wells or the creeks running through the fields. At least, I assume so, judging by Vita's reaction. This is weird. Where in the world did they go? Maybe they're hiding. No clue. I'll try going to the spring for the time being. Can we meet up again tomorrow? Sure. Be careful, Vita. We'll ask the villagers if anything out of the ordinary has happened lately. Okay, let's swap info tomorrow then. Thus, the blue spirit zoomed straight into the forest. I'm assuming we can see her. Otherwise, we're just like talking to the air, but we can apparently see and hear. I don't remember the logistics of that. Like, I guess she's definitely special, but it's not just, it's like we can see and hear her. We can't see or hear any other spirits. I don't remember if they explained that in the first game, or if it has something to do with the fact that she was synchronized, or because she was able to even synchronize, so she's special, and because she synchronized with a human that made her even more special. I don't know. Or did like leave give her that about, like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean, like, it just occurred to me that that should be odd. But what are you doing? You know, you're preening yourself, and then you're rubbing against my head, and then you're trying to hold my hand, but I don't know what you're doing. This is what Leave was talking about, you think? Oh, is this what Leave was talking about, you think? Sorry. I don't know about that. Didn't she specifically say it was noisy? If anything, this village feels empty and eerily quiet without the spirits around. Oh, okay. Does that mean this is something else entirely? Oh, this is all becoming a little unsettling. Just as Alest heard from his subordinate, there's nothing glaringly amiss in Ruth. But that only applies to the ordinary humans who can't see spirits in the first place. If Pashalia and Vita were right about the absent spirits, something else was going on. Well, Leave could say it was noisy because the spirit, after the landslide, the spirits kind of were like, oh, whatever. And then now they've pieced out and it was noisy, and now it's the quiet after the storm. You know what I mean? I don't think spirits have completely disappeared, though. It would have had a huge impact on the village if they did, since they're the embodiment of nature. So they're just hiding right now, huh? Well, it could be worse, I suppose. Thing is, we have no idea why they went into hiding. You wonder, did they encounter something terrible? Or scary, maybe? Realizing something, I stopped for a moment. I don't even know what spirits hate or fear. What did they like? What did they hate? What was it that made them happy or sad? If I were able to befriend them, I could have learned all these things. But the truth was, I knew nothing about them. Isn't that sad? They're always around us, even when we can't see them. Vita and I were practically family by now. Vita, being a higher spirit who could talk to humans, was the only reason we were so close. She was an exception among exceptions. Okay, there you go. That explains it. She's a higher spirit who's an exception among exceptions, and she can talk to humans, so other people can see her too. I mean, that makes sense, but... I mean, it makes sense other people can see her, but it also is like, why can other people see her and not other spirits? She's the exception. Is there anything I can do to communicate with spirits? Anything at all? Impossible though it might be, I couldn't help but imagine how nice it would be if I understood them. I'm assuming there are other spirits like her too, but maybe they just don't choose to make themselves known to humans, you know? Later on, we went to Pashalia's family home. I was worried we'd impose on them with the impromptu visit. His parents were tending the garden when we arrived. As soon as they spotted us, they smiled from ear to ear. After being treated to a wonderful dinner, we retired to Pashalia's room. At least we get to share a room because we married, because otherwise I'd be sleeping in the garden. I was afraid because we sort of barged in unannounced. It seems like they're both thrilled, though. I'm glad for that. And my parents just adore you, you know. I feel like they care more about you than me, their own son. With my smile, a leftover from our lively chat in the dining room, wilted in moments. That reminds me, your mom whipped up such a feast for dinner. But didn't she say the veggies tasted different than usual? Maria said the same thing. Yeah, I've actually been kind of worried about the fruits and vegetables I bought from Ruth. They taste a bit different these days. Because of the spirits missing. You know, something's going on with them. If you don't really mind it, I guess all is well. I still found them delicious, but I guess the change is more noticeable to people who eat them regularly. I figure it really does have something to do with the spirit's disappearance. Agreed. That's a possibility. Actually, I got some news from Dad when you were cooking with Mom. He said there have been some water issues around the village. Like how the tap water won't work, but then it bursts forth all at once. Is it because of the spirits? Not sure. It bothers me, though. Water spirits aren't the mischievous sort, right? If I remember correctly, spirits had varying personalities based on their attributes. Wind spirits were pranksters brimming with curiosity, while water spirits were gentle and affectionate. The issues Pashalia resolved back in the capital usually involved wind spirits. Yeah, that's all wind spirits. Hardly any water spirits enjoy practical jokes. Unless they're trying to get the people's attention to let them know something's wrong. You know what I mean? Because you'd be like, hey, like, if it was a wind thing, you'd be like, oh, just wind spirits being pranksters. But because it's so out of character, you're like, something's wrong. Especially the ones in Ruth who were led by Vita. There's never been one who got into mischief and caused headaches for the villagers. Why is this happening then? Spirits were nowhere to be found, yet they were playing tricks on the villagers. Not to mention the vegetables tasted different. They're trying to warn them about something, probably, but it was a good thing none of these oddities were causing irreparable harm. Still, I felt restless, not knowing whether it all came back to the spirits. I'm surprised that they don't think of that. Like, yeah, like water spirits don't usually pull pranks, so they must be trying to tell us something. Like, that should be your logical conclusion. And maybe there's something going on among the spirits as well. But we never know. In any case, let's discuss this with Vita tomorrow. You're right. There's nothing we can do right this moment, no matter how much we fret. How about we put this matter aside for now? Shalia clapped his hands, smiling as he changed the subject. Should we eat the jelly Mom made us? I can't help glancing at it just jiggling away over there. The clear, wobbly jelly nestled in its glass looked refreshingly delicious. Yeah, no. Jelly and jello and jiggly thing. Sounds gross. Making it even more tempting were the red and green grapes accenting the dish. So simple and beautiful, it almost looks like a jewel. Lieber also had a jelly dessert, one Spiria made. It was hard to make a dish that used this much fresh fruit in the capital, however. The moment I brought a spoonful of jelly into my mouth, it melted and sent me straight to bliss. Ugh. Come to think of it, your mom taught me a lot about veggies when we cooked together. It'll be a huge help. Oh, for your new creation? Yep, usually I'd start by thinking about how to prep the ingredients. But your mom said I can make them sing if I also consider how the vegetables are grown. I like to focus on bringing out the best in each and every component. Cabbage was a good example. Did the farmers prioritize taste when growing cabbage, or was it texture? While two cabbages might look the same, the ideal way to cook or prepare them could vary depending on how they were grown. It was something I never would have considered had I not come here to Ruth, the source of all these vegetables. You'll discover more and more possibilities if you keep on learning. I first came to realize this during our grand adventure. I guess I've been so overwhelmed that it slipped my mind. At first, Circus was poorly organized and worrisome, but we put some effort into getting to know each other. As time passed, we built a strong bond and grew closer. Okay, can you pet yourself? All right. In the end, we managed to deliver a show that brought joy to our audience without fail. It's like, so I'm just sitting here with my hand on my lap, but I got my fingers kind of extended, so it's like an awkward position, so the bird can just rub his face however he wants on my fingers, or then attempt to hold my hand like right now he's holding my hand. So weird. So if you hear me like randomly giggling, it's because the bird's just doing weird shit. It was the same with Pashalia. We were able to take a step forward because he opened up about his troubles. What are you doing? Stop that. If we hadn't gotten to know each other, we would practically be strangers now. Worst case scenario, Pashalia might have collapsed and we would never be able to see each other again. That's like they're telling you about in every other one he might be dead. Like, don't say that, Game. It's rude. You have a point. We need to get acquainted with one another first, because that's where it all starts. And now I can't wait to eat your upgraded dessert. I'll give it my best shot. Oh, and another thing. Can you be more critical next time? I'm not sure I can critique anything you do, though. Well, I'm glad you find everything tasty, but at the end of the day, we'll have to serve it to the guests. So can you harden your heart and tell me what's wrong with it? I want to improve. Say that, but I wouldn't know how to do so. Pretend you're Zephora, then. I think I can do that. Let me give it a try. Ahem. Bad shape, bad color, bland. I don't even know what you're trying to do here. You really think you can serve this heap of trash to paying customers? Well, I guess I'll give you some credit for doing what I told you last time. Pass. Barely. How'd I do? Sound just like him? Yep, totally. I thought he possessed you for a sec. I should have done the Zafora voice. That would have been funny. He sounded merciless for sure, but his points were all accurate. He even included some subtle compliments. It was hard to tell whether those were ad-libs. I don't know how to feel about all that, but your opinion was on point. My husband had some real talent. I love how she just keeps saying my husband, and not Pashalia or he. Just my husband, my husband, my husband. He's my husband. Did you know he's our husband? He's your husband, in case you didn't know. It's like, we get it, game, but actually keep telling me because I love it. Every time I'm like, yeah. You know, I'm not begrudging him telling me. But I wasn't so sure I wanted to be with a Zephora copycat, even for a moment. I want to be with a Zephora copycat. Okay, well, I only need one. Zephora is all I need. I don't need a copycat of him. On second thought, let's ditch that idea. I don't think my heart could handle it. Just stay the way you are, Pashalia. Sure. If that's so, I'll relish every single bite of your dessert samples. Yep, this feels right. I prefer that he be himself. It was already well into the night by the time we finished eating the jelly. I wasn't ready to sleep yet, though. I wanted to talk with Pashalia some more. Talk? Sure. Thus, we continued chatting away. I'm just kidding. Oh. A pile of sketchbooks in the corner of the room caught my eye mid-conversation. Picking one up, I turned to Pashalia. Didn't you show me this sketchbook the last time I was here? I'd learned just how good of an artist he was during our travels with Circus. The music is, like, going hard right now. Jesus. I don't know if you can hear it, because, like, I have it low because, like, it's, like, so loud. But then if I turn it down a little bit lower, then you can't hear it at all. And I'm pretty sure when I process it, like, when I go through and do the processing, that Adobe, like, automatically, like, puts the volume even lower. But I can't rely on that, because then my voice, and the background music is all one track. So I can't rely on being like, oh, it's a little loud, but Adobe will soften. I can't rely that it will do that, because if it doesn't, then it's like, you can't hear me, the music's drowning me out, or it's not a good balance. So it's like, it's either sometimes you can hear the music, sometimes there's nothing. You know what I mean? You can't hear it, but YouTube will sure as fuck pick it up. What the hell? Anyway, but that wasn't all. The spirits and villagers depicted in his drawings were all smiling kindly. His art was beautiful and full of warmth as befitted his personality. Mind if I take a look? Sure, go ahead. Flip through it all you like. Turned the pages one by one, absorbed in a series of drawings with delicate touches. I know I've been asking you to draw some art for Lieber's flyers and menu, but you really are good at it. I love your art. Thanks. Honestly, I only draw for fun, but I'm happy to hear how much you like my work. Don't you draw on your breaks sometimes? I love watching you do it. I lowered my eyes to one of the pages. It depicted this very room. Here we are, sitting side by side, yet you see the world differently than I do. What an uncanny feeling. In his drawing, spirits were flying all around the room, near the window frame, beside the bed, and on top of the desk. When I scanned the actual room we were in, I saw none of it. I faced Pashalia. Looking at these makes me want to understand you even better than I do now. And the same goes for me. You know, Spacey, I've been drawing you more often these days. Yet even the slightest change creates a whole new you on the page. Pashalia made a frame with his hands and held it up to me, a smile curving his lips. Say, for example, the angle, time of day, or the expression you have when I draw you. Full of discoveries for me to behold to the point that I'll never run out. Oddly romantic? Super fucking romantic. It makes me think that everyone's a unique prism, adding to the infinite possibilities in the world. That's just poetic right there. Ow. His eyes were sparkling. Pashalia must have developed this perspective after escaping the isolation he experienced when he was confined to this room. Now he truly glowed as he expressed his heartfelt emotions. Oh, now our right hand. On my left hand. That's my left hand. Good lord, can't tell my right from my left today. My left hand is totally usurped by the bird. He has shoved himself in my hand. And now we are just cupping bird. Like, my hand is wrapped around him, and I am just petting his head with my thumb. So I can only use my right hand, which is fine. That's all I need to be able to click the A button. So you're so snuggly. Look at you. You're so cute. You're so precious. You're adorable. You're distracting. But at least sitting right here, I can't feel your dagger toes on. Anyway. As individuals, what we consider normal seldom applies to others. Isn't that strange? Yeah, I marveled at that during our journey. I still feel it every single day. You know what surprised me the most, though? You. Always you. How can that be? Did I do something bizarre that stood out in your mind? I had done many strange things in the past. Even Rady would sometimes warn me to avoid acting outrageous. Fair. I didn't mean it in a bad way. You're so adorable, I'm caught off guard whenever I see your lovely face. Above all else, I'm amazed at how I find myself falling for you over and over again. I don't get it. Vishalia awkwardly chuckled at my confusion, and his gaze shifted to the shelf. See, I once read a book about a prince and a princess who fell in love with each other and lived happily ever after. Such a beautiful story, but I couldn't relate in the slightest. I was bedridden. There was no chance for me to meet a lovely princess. It was merely a fairy tale, a world far out of my reach. To be fair, Pashalia, you're the beautiful princess. And I met you and fell in love with you. Now that we're living together, I love you more and more with each passing day. And the kind of love I read in the book seemed charming, sure, but it was nothing like the real deal. Mind telling me how? He nodded. Love is sweet, yet sour. It's hot, yet cold. Love is beautiful, but there are all sorts of unpleasantries lurking beneath. It just keeps growing and growing until it's so large and all-encompassing that it becomes frightening. He wrapped himself in a hug, trembling a little. Shalia had once given up completely on reaching for a brighter future, believing it to be impossible for him. He'd closed himself off for so long that he was having trouble managing his emotions. It seemed like he was getting overwhelmed, so I placed my hand over his and gave him a reassuring smile. It'll be fine. The emotional highs and lows you're going through are part of you. Sorry. Didn't mean to hit a pin for everybody. No need to scream and bite. I'm sorry I offended you. So sorry, Mr. Boogerface. So sorry. I know. It's molting time and you don't have a birdie friend to help get those pin feathers out and you don't trust me. Alright, fine, no pets. I accept you for who you are. Oh, Spacey. And just for your information, my love is as big as yours. So how big is it? About this big? I got up from my seat and spread my arms wide, trying to reassure Pashalia. He's like, psh, puny. He stood up, leaned toward me, and... I've got you now. Huh? Oh. With a whisper, he pulled me in close, paying no mind to my bewilderment. Are you going to pin me to the bed? Are you pulling me down? Because I feel like this is where we're going. Are we getting a CG? Are we getting a CG of this? Whoa. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, did you just pull me down on top of you on the bed? And just like that, both of us collapsed on the bed. Hell yeah. I was lying right on top of him. I love the fact that so many times when they open CGs, this is now the second one they've done it with, they just, because they always do like a preview like this, where you're like, okay, you don't know what the whole CG is. But with Pashalia, it's like, look at his ring. Like, did you know he's your husband? In case you forgot. Like, his arms felt a lot firmer and stronger than I'd expected. Oh, look at that beautiful face. Pressed up against my gorgeous husband in bed, our lips nearly touching, I flushed red in an instant. Okay, simmer down. Unless you're getting because you're like, oh, unless you're blushing with excitement, don't blush in embarrassment. Again, he's your husband. Okay? Hey, hold on a sec. We're at your parents' house. Okay, maybe be embarrassed about that. We're at your parents' house. Shh, like, come on. Simmer down. Do you not want to? Oh, excuse me. Jolia's hold tightened and he smiled deviously at me. didn't say that. Look, you can see her ring too. It's cute. What's the problem then? I don't have a problem. I was just caught by surprise, okay? I have a problem. It's your parents' house. I mean, I know we're married, but like, you could simmer down for a night. My bad. You're just so cute, I can't help myself. He laughed, lowering his gaze. But your love too, no matter the size or shape of it. I'm not moaning for him. Shalia? What's wrong? Oh, he was just humming. Okay. He fell silent as his eyes wavered. He looked so sad now. Cheer up. Everything's gonna be okay. Didn't I say I'd accept you as you are? Please, tell me more about what you're feeling. His next words were but a murmur. Sorry, Spacey. I hadn't expected him to apologize. Oh, what for? I rejected you when you confessed to me for the first time. I wanted to apologize about that for the longest time. You're like, okay, so now that we've been married and it's been like a fucking year, and then you're like, I'm sorry, what happened? You know, like a year ago when I first rejected you? Okay, seriously? Bad timing, sir. I mean, if your husband was like, I'm sorry, you'd be like, what did you do? Remember when we first met 10 years ago and I rejected you? Okay, now is, what the hell? What the hell? What the damn hell? Shit. I mean, with this I wasn't, but you're like, you can't just spring that on a woman. You can't just spring that. You can imagine doing that to your husband. You can't just spring that on a person. You know, you'd be like, you remember when we first met and I rejected you? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's how you start that conversation. You don't be like, I'm sorry. Because that makes, people are like, oh my God, why? Did you run over the dog? Did you cheat on me? Are you leaving? Like, did you break my favorite vase? Like, what's happening here? You never know what it's going to be. I'm sorry, I forgot to get you a snack when I was I forgot to ask if you wanted a beer. You know what I mean? Like, it could be something simple and stupid. It could be something traumatic. You don't know. Your mind goes a million miles an hour, and you think of 7,000 different things, and it's like, remember when... Oh, idiot. Realizing what he meant, I calmly shook my head. No need for that. You had your reasons back then. He looked so sad, and look at her face. She's like, you idiot. Besides, you were hurting more than I was. I thought about what I would have done if I were in his position back then. Whatever I felt inside, I probably would have handled it in the same way. I've never regretted telling you how I felt. If you hadn't turned me down then, we wouldn't be here today. It helped me get to know the real you. You're so... too strong and suave for someone like me. You think so? I have no intention of handing you over to anyone else, though. He pulled me deeper into his embrace. His hold on me was stronger than words. I buried my face in his chest, listening to his heartbeat. It thumped in a calm, steady rhythm. Spacey. Yes? I looked up when he sweetly called my name. His eyes shimmered like two sparkling waves. A request for you. Sure, whatever I can do. Say it again. I said back then. Because I like you. Those were the words of my confession. The encore of the words that couldn't reach him this encore of the words that couldn't reach him then pricked at my heart. Okay, wow, I could not read. But why? So callous. I hurt you. I want to leave things that way, though. I can't rewind time to undo turning you down. I want to hear your confession again. Yeah, I don't know if I feel the same way. I'm just He'd be like, what? And you're like, I'm kidding. Oh. That too much. It's kind of like, I'm pretty sure I tell you I love you every damn day, but sure. You want to know again? I understood how he felt. Don't get embarrassed. This was kind of a bold ask when we were entwined so closely. Again, though, they're making this seem like she's like, oh, awkward to say that. You should be telling him you love him every month, and you just got confessed how much I love you and everything about you, but you can't tell him that you love him right now just because you're laying on top of him? Like, come on! That's complete and utter bullshit. It's not cute. It's kind of fucking weird. I love you this much and more than anything, and I will always love you. And now he's like, can you just confess to me again? Because, like, whatever. And she's like, oh, okay, this is a little ridiculous, but sure. But now it's like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I can't believe I have to tell him I love him. You've told him you love him like 37 times in this route, and you should be telling him every fucking day. So, like, that's like thousands of times, and you can't do it now without being awkward? I don't know. Like, I just drives me crazy when they do shit like this. It's not cute. Like, it's not like like when he's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," and she's like, "Oh my God, I was blushing because it made me giggle." Okay, sure, I could get that. But it's like when they throw in these certain things where it's like, I'm so embarrassed. It's like embarrassed when he grabs you, pins you to a wall, and makes out with you in front of other people. Yeah, sure, I get that. Sure, okay. You're like, what? Oh my God, not here. But like, but they make it so fucking awkward and aggravating. It's like, this is not the first time you've kissed this man or you're telling him your feelings and it's awkward and weird. You've told him a million fucking times. And like, I don't know. I either want them to write it better. You know what I mean? Instead of making every single woman like this delicate little waif who can't confess her feelings ever, even after 20 fucking years. It's like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. He looked at me. Okay, you have 4 kids. Stop it. You know what I mean? Or like just translate it better if it's a translation issue instead of being like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, understand the nuance and like write it in better, localize it better. Where it's like, okay, well, she's not really embarrassed. Like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Choose better words to convey that it's like just it's slightly awkward, but like, yeah, okay. You know, like, oh, I'm blushing and giggling type of like, oh, I'm gonna fawn because he's telling me I'm pretty, not so embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like, and I clearly don't have the right words to express that, but I feel like people who are localizing games should have better words than just like embarrassed. Like, because, like, I don't know. It just drives me crazy. Anyway, it's a bold ask for him to ask you to, like, girl, again, it's like this is the first time you've ever been this close to him. I'm pretty sure you fucked him quite a few times. This is weird. Unless you're like, oh my God, it's your parents' house? Then I can understand that. But she's not talking about that. It's like, oh my God, we're so close. Oh my God, he's going to try to have sex with me. Get over it! Like, at this point, like, this is not your first time. Like, what the hell? Again, it's just the way they do it. Like, I know that there's subtleties to it. Like, you know, where sometimes you're like, oh, this is a little awkward. And okay, we're doing something different. We're role playing. It's going to be a little awkward, you know? Like, giggle a little or something. Because, like, if you're not used to role playing or something. But they always act like she's like, oh my God, I've never seen a man before. Been married to this man for a year. So, like, giggly, awkward, fawning mess is one thing. Because I get you. I'm here with you on that. But, like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. You just fucking dropped your tray in a cafeteria. Like, it's different. Like, it's different. Can I move over a bit before I say the thing? And like this is so dumb. This didn't need to be like this. No can do. I want you to stay right here. He flexed his arms, locking me in place. He had no intention of letting me go. And like this, it's like, you should... It's so dumb to be so awkward about this. Please. I want to hear it again. His sweet voice was tinged with sadness. He knew I couldn't say no to that. And to be honest, I was fine with his request from the start. Then why are you acting like an ass about it? I'm fine with his request, but I want to act like I'm so, oh my God, so timid and like, don't. It was a waste of a couple of lines and it made me angry. It was a waste of 5 minutes for me getting mad about it. I'm really picky about the stupidest shit, aren't I? I don't know, it just drives me crazy. Especially because it's like, I'm a strong, independent woman, but oh my God, he looked at me and I'm a blushing mess. And it's like, I get it. Sometimes, but like they just overdo it, and it's like, ugh. At this point, like, it's ridiculous at this point. Like, you know, you could still convey the like, oh, my husband still makes me giggle and fawn without like that whole embarrassment shit. Like you're 13 and you have your first crush. Like, that's not, it's totally fucking different. Like, in our intimate pose, he could undoubtedly hear the thrumming of my heart. I took a small, deep breath. And I get this might be a little awkward, like, this is a little awkward. But you could just say, this is a little awkward, but, you know, whatever, instead of like the way they make her act about it. Because I like you. It was the same exact thing I said back then. Compared to last time, though, the words were filled with more and more of my love for him. I like you, Pashalia. I willed my words to reach him. I like you too. His voice and expression told me he was overcome with joy. Tells us that too. Look at his little blush. Like that, and they're blushing and being goofy. Like, that's cute and that's fine, you know? And finally I was able to respond in kind. Sorry for making so long. The words I wanted to hear transcended time and moved me deeply. My feelings were fit to overflow. Like, this is a cute moment. They didn't have to make it weird by throwing in those couple lines. So, you know, I don't know. I'm glad I didn't give up on you. Our romantic voyage had hardly been smooth sailing. Nevertheless, I could proudly say that no matter how painful things were back then, I was fond of those memories. Had it not been for that day, I might never have seen him smile again. I love you, Pashalia. See, and then you can confess your, like, she said that in her head, but still. We gazed tenderly at each other for a time, feeling our hearts beat as one. And they have all these moments, so then when he's like, tell me you like me again. Again, this is a little, what? Why? It's awkward. Awkward is different than like, I'm so embarrassed. Oh my god, well, I wanted to tell him, but like, I don't know. I think I just need to stop, I need to just like, I need to be like, you know what, this is the words they're saying, but I'm going to read it in this other context so I don't get mad about it. I need to temper my own expectations. I need to be like, this is what they're saying, but like, I'm going to pretend they're doing this over here so it doesn't irritate me. You know? So just always say, so I need to force it to not. You know? Mishalia was the first to break the silence. While I'm at it, do me another favor. Need to see one. Sir? What do you mean, sneaky? This room we're in means a lot to me. And I have few positive memories here. You mean sneaky as in we're gonna be sneaky and have sex in your parents' house? Because that's a little weird. Listen. Some people might not have those boundaries. I do. Okay? Like, don't come to my fucking house to visit and then go bang in one of my... Don't. I'm not gonna be having sex in your house. Don't you be having sex in my house. Like, that's just... Like listen. It's just respect for me, okay? Those are my rules. Alright? Have respect for my house and my property and my roof, okay? So, like... maybe it's just being on the ace side of the spectrum. That it's like, in reality, when you're like, oh, you're going to be a guest staying at someone's house for a couple of days. You can keep it in your pants for a couple of days. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I just don't understand people like, we're away for like 2 days and we're in someone else's house. So we have to, like, ew. My crazy friend that I told you about the last time was staying at my house one time. With like a boyfriend or whatever. And like, she knew my rules. And he was like trying to have sex with her. They were sleeping in the living room on an air mattress. And she knew. She was like, no. And I was like, yeah, no. That, like, first of all, like, we didn't have a real, like, the house was really small. And it's like, we would have heard that. That's disgusting. Like, I don't want to hear you. Like, gross. Like, it's the same thing, like, I'm not seeing anyone, so obviously I'm not having sex with anyone. But, like, if I was living with someone or dating someone, I wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, my mom's here, we'll just bet. No, you can wait. So I just don't understand that. So that's just a me thing. So this would be like, let's get it on. Okay, sir, you're in your parents' house. Simmer down. And at Lieber, it'd be weird and awkward, but we also live there. That's our house. So, like, okay. That's different. You know? But, like, this is your parents' house, sir. Like, keep it in your pants. We had a hotel the last night. You could have... I don't know if that's where he's going, but it's like... So that would be her being like, oh, no, lines. There are lines. I can understand that then. But it wouldn't be embarrassment. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I'd be like, whoa, that's a little disrespectful. Because that's just my personal feelings. But I knew what he was talking about. Do you? Is that what he... maybe I'm reading into it. He was stuck here, bedridden, when his Vastitas took a turn for the worst. Vastitas, or whatever it's called, took a turn for the worst. He spent every single day suffering as his body was sapped of all its water. Every morning I'd wake up and feel relieved knowing I got to live another day. Then I'd realized it was yet another day of agony, an endless cycle of pain. Goodness, Pashalia, even waking up to cheery birdsong each morning wasn't enough to make him feel glad he'd survived. Well, that's because sometimes you wake up and it's just a bird screeching downstairs telling you to get the fuck up and uncover him. Oh, just me? He's just sitting snugged in my hand again. It must have been downright awful to repeat those dreary days over and over again. I just seized at the mere thought. Again, we've also been to his parents' house before, so... It brings me to my current idea. I want you to overwrite all my distressing and terrible memories of this room. Again, we came for a wedding celebration kind of after we got married or whatever. Did we not stay here then? Not the point, but like... Yes, every last one. Good thing it's a small room. Yeah. Oh, he's kissing us, I'm assuming. You can do that, right? So he said, but it was hardly a question. Without even waiting for me to answer, he captured my lips in another kiss. I'm sure that's not all he's going to capture. Mishalia, what? Oh, and he's getting frisky now. I'm not moaning and groaning for him. It was too late. He'd kiss me each time I tried to utter a word of protest. I made to slip off him, but he only tightened his grip. In the end, I couldn't form a single coherent response. Though I had to admit my will to resist dissolved a little more with every passionate kiss. Sorry, don't think I can hold back now. I may just bring you to tears again. Sir! Phrasing! I hope they were tears of ecstasy, because otherwise I'm very concerned about your skills if you bring me to tears. I'm assuming he didn't mean it in a bad way, but that's a fucking sentence right here. Oh my god. Sorry. Another word that brought back memories. However, it wasn't as heartrending as it was in the past. I channeled my feelings into my kisses rather than words. Besides, I knew he would continue to make me cry. Out of joy, out of sorrow. Whenever this happens, he'll gently brush my tears away with his fingertips, like always. I wanted to tell him that's fine with me. But the bashfulness threatened to overwhelm me, so I closed my eyes and let myself drown in him. The bashfulness, that I'm so bashful, because, again, that's ridiculous. Like, take that out. Like the awkwardness or whatever, like, oh, I feel a little awkward about this. Okay, fine, but the bashfulness just makes it sound like she's a blushing little wallflower, and it's like, it's the choice of words. But now we're Pashalia. A while later, calmly watched my wife breathe peacefully in her sleep after she cried herself to sleep. I'm sorry. Gotta bring you to tears again. That's awkward. Again, I'm assuming he meant tears of joy, but like, you know. I might have pushed her a little too hard. Really? I used to spend my days fighting for my life in this very bed. And we were just fighting for air, I'm assuming. Seeing my beloved sleeping soundly in it felt kind of strange. And I also found it endearing. I'm pretty fucking sure we didn't have to read into what happened. I don't think I'm reading into it. I'm pretty sure we know without them saying, like, yeah. His parents fucking heard everything. Spacey. It wasn't just making out. We weren't just making out. Come on. She kept her word. She accepted all of me. I bet she did. How charming and lovely she was when she embraced me in all my pain and suffering. You're so full of surprises. Light a burning fire inside me whenever you're near. I bet. I'm not moaning for him. Or her. What a cutie. I did a gentle kiss on her lips. One much gentler than when we were entwined. I bet. I hope so. I mean, seriously, though. When you're both awake and getting frisky and making out, that's a different type of kiss than when someone's sleeping. Her unconditional love made me on her. My love for the lady resting beside me kept on growing stronger. Able to believe in the future because of you. Stay by my side and you trust me no matter what. You really do. No amount of pretty words could do justice to my love for her. I'm sorry, just trying to move my hand a little bit. I love you. I know I do. You're so precious. You're the most cutest little bird ever. You're the cutest. You're so adorable until you shriek and bite me and you're not adorable anymore. You know, you're so trusting though, because the way I'm sitting in my hands, I could just squeeze your neck right now. Like, I could literally, my index finger, oh, he's like, nope. But they're so close together that I could just like, boop. You're so trusting. You know, you shouldn't sit like this because somebody could like, you're just so horrible. I could strangle you. You trust me not to. I would never do that. I don't even like it when I pet you. And that sounds wrong. Wait, if I brush against a pin feather and it makes you scream, I don't like it because it makes me feel bad because I hurted you. I know you know that I'm not trying to hurt you, but it still makes me feel bad. I'm like, oh no. Oh no, poor birdie. But you're so very trusting because this is such a bad position. I could just squish you. Wow. I desperately want to squeeze you, not in a bad way. I want to squeeze you because you're so cute. Aggression. But I'm not gonna because you're very delicate. It is when you gentle, gentle squeeze. Oh, you're so cute. Anyway, sorry, I'm distracted. He's fucking cute. He's so cute when he's being like this. He just snugs all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to pet your head and you didn't like that pose. That's okay. Here you go. I'm sorry. My fingers are sweaty now. Can I just have a minute? You don't realize how sweaty your fingers get in between them until you're cupping a bird. It's weird. No, I'm not a pretty. Okay, I reread that. Sorry. Wrap my arms around her, trying not to wake her up, and close my eyes. Couldn't wait to see you first thing in the morning. Smile illuminated by the rays of the rising sun would surely be the loveliest morning I would ever experienced. Pure bliss. That in mind, drifted off to dreamland, feeling utterly satisfied. I bet. I'm happy that we utterly satisfied you. The next morning, well, nearly afternoon. Yeah, well, we had a rough night. Oh. Hurry up, Pashalia. We were supposed to meet this morning, but it's already noon. Having overslept, I got ready in a flash and rushed over to the spring. We overslept because we were busy last night. Needed to catch up on our sleep. And don't worry, it'll be all right. She's good at reading the room. That's not the problem here. You should have woken me up since you got up before I did. Your sleeping is way too adorable. Besides, you looked pretty tired. I mean, I don't think we needed to read the room. I'm just saying. I fought the urge to crack back and put the blame on Pashalia. Ultimately, I was the one who'd overslept. It was still super frustrating, though, because he tired you out. Dear God. Whatever, let's pick up the pace. Pulling Pashalia's arm, I was about to run toward the meeting spot. Just then I heard a splash in the yard next door. Oh no, they got me! Isn't that the neighbor's voice? What happened, Auntie? When we walked over, an older lady looked up at us with a defeated smile. You gonna go over there? I gotta put my legs down now, so you can stay down there, but bird, I had to stretch my legs out. You gonna come up? Careful, I know. Screen printing on that shirt's a little hard for you to get your toes onto. Nugs under my chin. Good morning, you two. I heard you arrived yesterday. Good morning. Oh gosh, your laundry. She followed my gaze to the laundry hanging in her yard. Though it should have been drying on the line, it was all soaking wet. They got me. I have to squeeze the water out and hang it all again. Let me help you then. I felt bad for Vita, but I couldn't just ignore this. The two of us picked up the laundry, wrung it out, and hung it back up. How did it get so wet, though? Who was it that got you? Some sort of prankster, it seems. Everyone in the village has been hit by something or other. Again, I don't feel like it's the spirits trying to pull pranks. I feel like that's their only way to communicate that something is wrong. Shelley and I exchanged glances. A prankster in the village. Laundry drenched out of nowhere. Or there is a spirit here that's causing a ruckus and the other spirits kind of just don't want to deal with them, maybe, but I can mean only one thing. Could it be the spirits? What? The spirits? The lady lifted a brow in confusion. I think so. The incidents are too widespread to be called to be a village child messing around. And since it's related to water, it's only natural to suspect the spirits. Well, you might have a point there. Thing is, we can't see them. Doesn't that make it wrong to assume the spirits are guilty off the bat? Look at how kind she is. She was like, stupid fucking kids! And they're like, it's probably the spirits. Well, I didn't see them do it, so I feel like it's wrong to blame them. But you were going to blame a village child? Yeah, kids suck. High five, a lady. I like the way this lady thinks. She finished hanging her laundry as she spoke. Even if it's indeed the spirits doing, all I can do is leave them be. It's not like they're dirtying or ripping up the clothes anyway. I can just hang these back up. Her response exemplified what made Ruth so different from a big city. With so many spirits around, the villagers had more chances to interact with them. Dang, getting louder, bird. That led to their general laid-back attitude toward the spirits. Great! I think that's all of them. Thanks for helping me out. Really appreciate it. It's nothing. We'll come back to help you if anything else happens. The lady returned to her house, carrying the clothing she couldn't wring out. Once she was out of sight, I turned to Pashalia. It really was the spirits doing, right? So, yeah, I saw one running away just now. I can't say for sure since I wasn't here when it happened, but I'd bet on it. We should chase after them. Pashalia nodded and pointed in a direction. I think they for the spring. And maybe we can get a better idea once we meet up with Vita. Oh, there's rain coming. Heavy rain. Oh, I forgot how pretty the spring is. Felt bad that we made her wait so long. With that goal in mind, we rushed over to the spring. Now tell me, why'd you do that? Didn't I tell you not to overdo it? Humans are different from us. Upon our arrival, we saw Vita dishing out a lecture. While I couldn't see who she was talking to, I figured it was the mischievous spirits. The splashing water after each of our remarks clued me in. Okay. Oh, all right. Wonder what they said. Though I could hear Vita's side of things, I couldn't discern the other spirits' feelings. All I had to go on were the splashes. Still, I knew one thing for sure. They were trying to explain themselves in some way. Again, I feel like they're trying to, communicate with the people in the village about something being wrong, and there's no way to do it. That's the only way to do it is, Sorry, Spacey. I'll translate what the spirits are saying for you. That'd be great. See, there's something they want to tell the villagers. See, what did I say? And they were trying to get the villagers' attention by pulling all those pranks. What is it they want to say, though? Or what Aless said before, there was a landslide around the upper stream. And that caused the water to stop flowing so it isn't going to the other spring in the heart of the forest. Yep, that's it. Vita had finally noticed us and floated over, and that could be why the vegetables taste different because it's like the water, you know what I mean? The landslide didn't have an impact on Ruth or this spring, but the number of spirits in the other spring seems to be decreasing, and the water quality nearby is changing. Is that why the veggies taste different from usual? See, there you go. Yeah, probably. It's only a slight change, fortunately. I fell into thought. Alest and Ion did say they were going to investigate the landslide. Looks like the security forces have removed the earth and sand that can hamper the humans' lives. But the road leading to the spring was left as is. Well, not that I blame the humans for it, since they can't see us. That's the reason for the spirits' practical jokes. They want us to know about this. I had a grasp on the gist of things now. That only prompted more questions, though. Wouldn't it be better to ask Earth spirits to remove the dirt and debris than humans? I mean, spirits can definitely understand each other. Why don't you work together? I know, that would be difficult. Spirits with different attributes don't usually join forces. Oh, really? Have you ever heard of a human who formed contracts with different spirits aside from royalty? Now that you mention it, no, never. We just don't get along. Us spirits put our own kind first. I won't say it's totally impossible, but things like that barely ever happen. That's spiritist. Apparently that's the reason magic tools are so popular. Tools don't have a consciousness, and we can freely combine attributes with them. Ah, gotcha. There's still a lot of things I don't know about spirits. Surprised by these little revelations, I nodded. Anyhow, we should tell the security forces about the Earth spillover and get this solved quickly. Agreed. I mean, they did say they'd be staying overnight and picking us up once they're done. And you guys, you heard that, right? Advita's calling the water splashed again. We're going to handle this issue, so you better not mess with the humans again. Is that clear? She continued scolding them, making the water spray and splatter all over. You've got to be protesting. No buts! Your message didn't get through, so what's the point? Right then, the water went completely still. Are they shocked or something? Huh? You can see them? And no, but I can kind of tell by how the water's moving. These guys, you're right. They can't believe it because they thought the humans understood them. Spirits and humans have different sensibilities, you know? I see. Spirits weren't being mischievous at all. They'd done it with good intentions. I told you they were just trying to, warn people. It's really such a shame we can't communicate with each other, but the people didn't even get... But that's the sad part. The humans weren't like, huh. They were like, oh, the spirits are doing shit, but whatever. They should have been like, water spirits don't usually do this, so... If they're splashing around and making mischief, it must be they're trying to warn... What's the matter, lassie? Is Timmy in the well again? You know what I mean? I hope we can find a way. We found Pashalia's job. He's going to go around teaching people about spirits and, listen and paying attention to the signs. After some time, we left the spring and went back to Pashalia's family home. We ran into Alest, who informed us that the security forces had finished their work and made a stop back en route. We filled him in on the situation, and he agreed to take immediate action. Together, we made our way to the site of the landslide. Okay, but can you show me Alest, please? Because we've got a whole... Oh, there we go. Oh, thank God. I'm like, I've gone a whole hour without seeing him. What the fuck? Keep mentioning his name. Where's my boyfriend? He's not a bastard bespectacled boyfriend. He's a beautiful bespectacled boyfriend. I never knew there was a spring full of spirits here. We've removed the spillover for now, but it'll take a few days for the water flow to resume as normal. The restoration work had been completed successfully. We then visited the small spring hidden in the forest. The water there kicked up a grand applause of splish splashes. I assume the spirits were overjoyed. Beautiful blossoms and shiny stones were soon clustered around Pashalia. And no need to thank me. I didn't do anything special. Unable to refuse, he accepted the gift with an embarrassed smile. And he wanted the forces to have these too. Oh, thank you. Many thanks. Shimmering leaves and elegant branches fell into the officer's hands, one after another. Aww. I'm sorry, but if I did something and a little spirit gave me a pretty leaf or a shiny rock, I'd be like, this is awesome. I'm keeping this forever. But, who doesn't like fun, shiny rocks? Come on. Although these items might not be considered valuable to humans, they were probably quite precious to the spirits, and also it's a nice gift. The officers accepted the gifts with puzzled looks on their faces. Look at that. I grinned at the sight before me. The brawny security forces gingerly picked up the flowers and leaves in their large hands, trying not to accidentally crush them. It's honestly kind of cute. I couldn't say that out loud, of course. Mishalia's lips were twitching. He must have felt the same way. He then cleared his throat. Well then, everyone, let me thank you once again. The spirits truly appreciate your help. I should express my gratitude, too, on their behalf. Us spirits really value comfortable springs. Thank you for helping us protect this place. And don't mention it. Protecting Eshalita's our job. And that includes all the beings who live here, be they humans, fey beasts, or spirits. The other officers nodded in agreement. It's so heartwarming and wholesome. We were able to wrap this up wrap this problem up safely thanks to you all. But we will not always have an interpreter. It would be best if the spirits came up with a way to alert residents to future conundrums. You've got a point there. Playing tricks on the people will only create more misunderstandings. Exactly. I'll warn the spirits around here about that. Nina then tilted her head, uneasiness in the wrinkle of her brow. Problem is, some spirits don't have a leader like me. I did anticipate that. The few spirits have your power and ability to speak. I mean, there's definitely some out there, but I doubt they'll want to be involved with humans. Even if they do, they're so rare. I formed a contract with a spirit, but it doesn't mean we can communicate. Though I have come to understand them a bit more after all the time we've spent together. I've always known spirits are vital to our world. However, I never would have considered their intentions and the like if I had not met you, Pashalia. Really thundering, like fucking crazy right now. No matter how pleased the spirits were, the security forces could only see them as splashes of water. We couldn't see them, so we struggled to understand them. It was a deceptively challenging obstacle. It's really hard to understand each other if we live in two different worlds, huh? I heaved a sigh, thinking about the wall separating humans and spirits. The biggest problem here was the fact that we didn't know enough about them. And most people these days only form a contract with a spirit so they can use magic and make their own life more convenient. I've heard that in the past contracts were formed naturally by as the two beings came to understand one another. Yep, but the spirits began to slow slide into obscurity and no longer interacted with humans. It's no one's fault, really. Everything's bound to change with time, like the flow of water. We all nodded in tandem. It would be meaningless to tell the people already accustomed to magic tools to get more familiar with spirits. There was just one thing to do. A new bond between humans and spirits. To find out how to make that happen. I gazed up at the blue sky as he talked. We needed to look for an opportunity to help humans and spirits connect. In this new era, that was the key to bringing everyone into the same wavelength. But does that opportunity exist? Humans didn't even know what spirits looked like or how they moved. Hey, wait a minute. I put the brakes on my train of thought as something nagged at me. That's right. I know what spirits look like. It was all thanks to the sketchbooks Pashalia showed me. Oh my god, Pashalia is gonna write a book. They were cute, petite, and shimmery. That image had been solidified in my mind ever since then. When I saw those depictions, I thought to myself, these are the real spirits Pashalia saw every day. I think I have an idea. Security forces would make camp for the night and return to Arthur in the morning. I know we're a little over time, but let's just do this whole scene and see if we can you know, I have a little extra time because I started this a little early, on my lunch break. And it's a Friday, so Friday afternoon is shot for real work, but uh we parted ways with them and went back to Pashali's home. Also, it's scary raining out right now, like shit. Meanwhile, Vita headed off to the spring to explain what went down to the other spirits. The same went for us. We would discuss the situation with the people in Ruth tomorrow. Plus, we haven't made our choice yet, so. Uh-oh, shit. Hope it's just a flash flood. Oh, flood warning. Okay, sorry. That was my fucking... It's okay, buddy. It's okay, it's just a flash flood warning. Jesus Christ. It's scary as shit when that happens. Anyway. Especially because it's raining and I live in the south, so, you never know. You never know if it's a flash flood or a tornado. But simply, the problem was solved. All we needed to do now was go back to the capital. Back at his room, Pashalia had a faraway look in his eyes. Hey, Pashalia? Are you worried that we haven't solved the crux of the problem here? He really can't hide anything from you, huh? He faced me and let out a small sigh. I know I made some grand statements earlier about forging a new bond between people and spirits. But the truth is, I'm wondering if there's anything I can actually do. His gaze dropped to his hands. All I do is listen to their problems and help them solve them however I'm able. If they're nowhere near me, though, I can't do much of anything. He has high expectations of me, but I doubt I can handle a whole city or more. His heart was in the right place. He was just frustrated because he believed he was lacking. I gazed at my long-haired husband and wove a calm reply. The whole thing in Ruth helped me realize something. Humans tend to feel distant from spirits and forget about them because they're only vaguely aware of their presence. When she said, my long-haired husband, I was I kind of just want to grab a giant lock of his hair and just, play with his hair as we talk to him. Can we just be playing? I'm just going to imagine that. I just want to play with his hair. As they can't see them. I agree with you there. It's not possible to make the spirits visible to everyone, though. I know that. Only the lucky few can see spirits in the first place. My point is that we need to make people feel close to spirits, intangible as they are. We have to make people realize spirits are always with us. And you know how we can do that? Relay their messages. Well, that's what he's been doing. Teach people about them. Okay. I would say teach people about them because that's new. Relay their messages is like what we're already doing, and that's not going to help anything. But teaching people about them is like, if the people in the village kind of understood a little bit more about the spirits around them, then they would have been like, okay, wait, they're trying to warn us, even if we don't know why, or like, and that's what we talked about at the spring. Like, they have to understand that humans don't understand when they're splashing around that they're trying to warn them, and humans have to understand that, okay, the spirits are trying to get your attention. You got to find a way for them to communicate. So I would say teach people. Oh shit, my guide went dark. Yes, okay, cool. First time I got a right one with Pashalia. We need to teach people about them. If they know nothing about spirits, we just need to fill in the gaps. You mean on being an interpreter? Yep, trust me, I know how important it is to interpret what the spirits are saying word for word. But only you can do such a thing, so there's bound to be a limit. Exactly, he can't go everywhere. I paused for a moment, letting the nostalgia take hold of me. The same as our show in Orions. And by our Orions show, you mean... Don't you remember, you were the only one who understood the spirit's language. Yet the others and I were able to cooperate in our own way. You taught people about the spirits at our show, and they passed it on, until dozens and dozens of people heard by the end of the day. Oh. Something dawned on him then, and he gasped. But right after, he shook his head and looked at the floor. I get what you're saying. You're right, things went well with Circus. But honestly, I doubt you and I can pull off a show like that. I mean, our members are scattered all over the country. That's why we'll need to use other means. I don't understand. As he wasn't getting the point quite yet, I waved my hand in the air. People can't seem to bond with the spirits because they have no concept of their form. Rising to my feet, I plucked a sketchbook off the shelf. Cracking it open, I made my suggestion. What I'm saying is, how about we make a picture book? Vishalia, the author. Chapter 4. Perfect timing! I was like, this would be a great place for Chapter 4 to be. Okay, cool. So we'll finish Chapter 4. We'll do all of Chapter 4 in our end part. So the next part's going to be long, kind of the way Ion's was. And we'll wrap up Vishalia's route in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.